Good Monday afternoon, and thanks for joining us on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Just in, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office says it has received all of the federal evidence in the killings of Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and the shooting of Julio Sosa Solis. This update follows months of requests from local authorities for key information from federal investigators. Some of those pieces of evidence include hard drives with previously withheld evidence, Renee Good's car, and other key pieces of physical evidence. The Minnesota BCA also shared its files on those cases with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty says this marks a critical moment in her office's investigation of all three cases that have drawn major national attention.
From January 7th, I've been consistent in saying that all of us here locally wanted to do the same thing that we have done in every other case, which was to share information, to do joint investigations. We had that agreement for a period of time, and then it was stopped. I will say the conversations have never stopped happening between the local agencies here, including the FBI, the BCA, our office, the U.S. Attorney's Office. So those conversations never stopped. And I'm grateful that our federal partners came to this place where they realized that getting back to normal, because this is what this really is. This is getting back to normalcy, which we all have wanted. We were trying to do that since Renee Good was shot, and now we're back to that place.
Moriarty says analysis of this newly obtained evidence will take time, adding there's no timeline for a potential charging decision in the three cases. New video just into the newsroom this afternoon of the devastation after a fire at a Rosemount church. Sky 11 capturing video of former Lighthouse Church gutted by the flames. Authorities believe the building was empty at the time of the fire. What caused it is under investigation. Right now, authorities are asking people to avoid that area while they clear it. We're also following breaking news out of Maine, where police are investigating the nation's second fatal ICE-related shooting in a week. A state lawmaker says one person was killed in Biddeford this morning. State officials are investigating the incident, and police say there is no threat to the public. The shooting comes just days after an ICE agent shot and killed a man during a traffic stop in Houston. Developing today, the U.S. Forest Service is closing the Boundary Waters canoe area due to extreme weather conditions and numerous wildfires burning right now. That closure begins at midnight for all Boundary Waters entry points. There are 17 wildfires currently burning in northern Minnesota. The Minnesota National Guard's on the ground helping fight them after Governor Tim Walz declared a peacetime emergency. Those wildfires are also forcing burn restrictions in several counties. Tonight, the community in Wabasha is holding a prayer vigil following the deadly boating crash on Lake Pepin that killed 3. Authorities say a 27-foot pontoon carrying 6 people overturned around 10:30 Saturday night after reportedly colliding with a commercial barge. Upon arrival, first responders say they found 3 people clinging to the vessel. The bodies of the other 3 boaters were recovered after a large-scale search operation last night. Law enforcement has not identified those 3 people yet and is waiting until they notify their families. But posts on social media indicate they may be connected with the Wabasha Fire Department. The Wabasha Firemen's Relief Association added this picture on Facebook with the black band around their logo. The Wabasha Police Department also shared the post, writing that they're mourning the loss of people who, quote, gave so much of themselves in service to the community. Today's service will be held at St. Felix Catholic Church at 7 p.m. New this afternoon, President Trump says he's reinstating a blockade on Iranian ships entering or leaving the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. and Iran are each saying they control the critical waterway after a weekend of attacks that has extended into this morning. The strikes across the Middle East are threatening to end the diplomacy to end the war. NBC's Matt Bradley reports from Tel Aviv.
A fresh exchange of fire across the Middle East. Overnight, the U.S. said it had fired 3 salvos of airstrikes at Iran. The U.S. said in retaliation for Iran firing at shipping in the hotly contested and crucial waterway of the Strait of Hormuz, the waypoint for 20% of the world's oil supply. Now, we see these continuing strikes going into late last night, and we heard this morning from the Foreign Ministry of Iran. The spokesperson for the Foreign Ministry accused the U.S. of violating the ceasefire. said that the U.S. has continuously violated the terms of that memorandum of understanding that President Trump signed with Iran last month. We had been hearing from U.S. allies, basically Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, several countries that have been taking Iranian retaliation in the past. The Iranians said they had fired at American military installations in those countries. All of those countries have reported that their anti-air defenses were activated and that there had been at least one death. This reported on the Iranian side. It's unclear whether the hostilities are going to continue into this week or whether this represents an actual threat to that ceasefire. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Here's a live look now from the nation's capital this afternoon as senators return to D.C. with an uncertain agenda. Right now, Republicans are weighing their next steps after the sudden death of South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham. According to state law, South Carolina's governor can appoint a temporary replacement to fill Graham's seat. Several names are being floated, including Congresswoman Nancy Mace. However, she said she's not interested.
We can't afford to lose any seats in the House. I'm not pursuing it. I'm told that Joe Wilson's not pursuing it, that interim appointment, because we need every vote that we can have for the president in the House as it stands today.
Meanwhile, local leaders are reacting to Graham's passing. In a statement on Facebook, Senator Amy Klobuchar called the South Carolina Republican a man who, quote, loved his work, his country, and his family. Right now, tributes are pouring in for Jurassic Park actor Sam Neill, who died today at the age of 78. The New Zealand actor announced he was cancer-free just a few months ago after going through blood cancer treatment for 5 years. Neill's family says his loss was, quote, sudden and unexpected. He is most known for playing Dr. Alan Grant in the original 1993 Jurassic Park. He reprised that role in the franchise's third movie in 2001 and more recently in the last Jurassic World film that came out in 2022. Happening today, people will have a chance to weigh in on a proposed deal for California company Sutter Health to acquire Allina-Sutter. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison's office says they want to hear from the community to weigh whether the deal violates the law. If that agreement moves forward, Allina would become Sutter Health's Upper Midwest division. It would still keep its name, brand, and regional headquarters. However, some Allina doctors say the deal could lead to rising costs and have a negative impact on patient care. Tonight's forum is at 6 p.m. All right, take a look at your screen right now because police in Egan are looking for this pickup truck and its driver from an alleged road rage shooting on Saturday. That's a white F-150 ranging from a 2010 to a 2014 model. Police say that driver shot at another car before driving off on 35E. The car was damaged, but thankfully no one was hurt. Egan police are asking anyone who saw something to call them. It has been more than 2 weeks since major earthquakes hit Venezuela, and this afternoon we know more than 4,300 people are dead. But tens of thousands of people are believed to be missing. And as that search continues, officials say conditions are becoming increasingly difficult, with crews working in high temperatures in piles of debris and pollution. The Pan American Health Organization says it will work with Venezuela to monitor for potential outbreaks of respiratory or digestive illnesses. Happening right now across the country, several communities are cleaning up after another round of severe weather, and more is on the way for some people. NBC's Shaquille Brewster's in Chicago with more.
Hi there. Well, it's already a hot one here in the Chicago area where temperatures are expected to flirt with the 90s. Here at Navy Pier, it is very likely that you'll have kids and maybe even some adults playing and enjoying the splash pad that you see behind me, because Chicago is not going to be alone with these hot temperatures. We have millions of people across the country bracing for the start of another heat wave that's already taking hold out west. But out east, folks are cleaning up after this weekend saw another round of dangerous summer storms. We know some straight line winds in the Philly area, knocking down trees and power lines, ripping the roof off of an apartment building. Look at that, sending it flying into the road. The city's mayor there issuing a disaster declaration, all while heavy rain from Louisiana to Missouri, even Tennessee, causing some mudslides in some places and just deadly and catastrophic flooding. Unfortunately, more severe weather is in the forecast for other areas. In Texas, for example, the governor there already activating emergency response systems ahead of possible rain, storms, and even flash flooding down there. A lot of severe weather in store for later this week, even as this heat dome sets in for much of the country. Back to you.
Well, a happy update this afternoon. Some of the more than 70 cats rescued from an extreme hoarding situation in Sibley County are already finding new homes. Take a look at this video. The Animal Humane Society says this group of cats arrived at its adoption center over the weekend, and several have already been adopted. Last week, investigators found dozens of cats living in a home with piles of trash, no water, high ammonia levels. The remaining cats are still being evaluated and treated. The Animal Humane Society says they should start arriving at its adoption center sometime this week. Stick with us. More news and weather's coming up after the break.